Mama, I got bad news, bad news. I've been rolling with some bad dudes, bad dudes. I've been trying to get a bag too. I'm just doing what I have to. I said, Mama, I got bad news, bad moods every day. Brand new tattoos on my face, sad dude with a head full of rain. I just wanna make it rain, Mama, I will be okay. I feel like I might break right now. I feel like making a fucking mistake right now. Ew, I just need a cake right now. I blow out all the candles in my brains right.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the DOPEY CANUCK, a podcast dedicated to taking a humorous look at addiction, recovery, drugs, and all the crazy dumb shit in between. My name is Chuck LaFlange, and thank you for tuning in. I think the first thing I need to say is please know that I am not trying to glamorize the addiction lifestyle, nor am I trying to minimize what is definitely a very deadly and serious disease, and that is addiction. So my attempt to use humor is a way to try and get your attention and to possibly bring some awareness to what is truly a horrible and terminal disease. If you are suffering from addiction and are in active addiction, I should say, please reach out, find a meeting, find a friend, find a family member. Today could be the day that you start that lifelong journey of healing. So for the first episode, we're going to tell the story, Coke, yeah, let's try it. All my stories are true, by the way. So anyway, 17 years old. At this point in my life, I'm pretty new, or not even new. I had never even seen Coke or any real hard drugs. I mean, I was selling acid, and we'd eat mushrooms and smoke pot and drink and carry on, but never any hard drugs up until this point. So I'm throwing this big party. There's like 30 of us there, and at this point in the day, I've done like 7.5 taps of acid. And I'm I'm tripping balls. I'm way out of my head. So I decided I need some fresh air, and I'm out on the back balcony of this sixplex that we're living in, and I'm in the sixplex. Like, our unit faced the back alley, and we were beside a house who had this huge backyard. So in essence, when I was standing in the back alley or on the back deck, I could look down and into the neighbor's backyard, and I'm out there with this dog, this Akita Husky Cross, and he's a giant thing. I have no idea what I'm doing out there with the dog. I imagine he's just real happy to be away from the party of 30 people doing acid, and I'm probably trying to bond with the poor mutt. So anyway, I hear this voice from the yard next door, and it's a lady's voice, and it's saying, "Hey, whose dog is that?" Well, I look down, and I can kind of see somebody through the fence, and I says, "Well, it's my dog. What the fuck of it?" And she says, "Well, come down to the fence. I want to talk to you." And well, shit, I'm mind blown here, and I'm tripping balls, and I figure, well, maybe I'm getting into some sort of trouble, and well, being 17 on acid, I thought that was pretty cool. So into the party I go again, and then out the back door, and nobody even sees me leave. Not that anybody would have cared that much, I suppose. So anyway, I get down to the fence, and she's like, "Oh, come into the yard. I want to talk to you." And again, who knows where my mindset was? I mean, what a crazy thing to do. So to the front of the yard I go, and then around the fence and into the back. And it actually takes me a couple of minutes, because these are big lots and gates and what have you. So I get into the yard, and now she's standing in the doorway into the house, and she said, "Well, come into the house." And I'm like, "Well, I'm getting in a fight. This is awesome, right?" Because again, I'm 17 on acid and kind of dumb, I guess. So I come into the house, and I walk in, and the first thing I hear the first thing I see, I should say, is these two heavier set women. They're maybe 35, and I think, shit, I'm gonna get raped. Well, that's not what happened. So she the first lady introduces herself as Jill, and I can't remember the name of the second lady, and it's not really relevant to the story anyway, so moving on. Jill says to me, "So are you guys a bunch of solid people over there?" I says, "I don't know, we're all a bunch of rats." Well, we kind of laugh at that for a minute, and then she says, "Well, I'll tell you what, I sell weed over here, so if you guys are ever, in need of some pot, you just let me know and I can help you out." And I think this is fantastic, right? And I was like, "Great, we got a dealer living right next door." And we're going back, 30 years or something, almost 30 years now, when weed was still a real drug here anyway. So it was kind of a big deal. And then she says, and the other thing is if you ever see the cops kind of floating around and you think they might be about to, kick in my door, if you give me a heads up and prevent a bust, I'll give you an ounce of weed. I said, you give me an ounce of weed for being a good Samaritan. She says, oh yeah. So I think this is great. I got a new best friend, a weed dealer next door, and, potential to be a good Samaritan, or what I think is a good Samaritan back then anyway. So the next question out of her mouth, do you smoke coke? I said, yeah, all the time, right? Well, I'd never even seen the shit, let alone crack. But, 17 on acid, nothing's a bad idea. So she says, well, do you want a hoot? I said, well, of course I want a hoot, right? So back then they used quite a bit anyway, these asthma inhalers, and then they, with tin foil and make a little bed out of ashes and put the rock on that. And so she puts this thing up to my mouth, and she's got the lighter, and she lights this. And I got to stop for a second here, folks. I am a seasoned crackhead. I have smoked untold amounts of that awful drug in my life since then. Still to this day, I think back about how giant that boulder was and about how messed up it was that I even tried it. So anyway, she puts this giant boulder up in there, and she lights it, and I smoke, and I suck in this giant hoot, and I blow it out right away, like super fast. Well, she's like, no, you did it wrong. You got to do it again. And I don't even have time to really register what's happening to my brain and my body. But if you're listening to this, there's probably a good chance that you've tried that awful drug. And the first one, right? And it's crazy. It hits you hard. It hits you fast. And my first ringer is now hitting me in full force from this giant hoot. And she sticks another hoot up to me, and I suck it in. And this one I managed to hold in for some time. I couldn't tell you how long, because my memory gaps out now for at this point in the story. By the time I come to and realize what the hell's going on, I am back at back in the sixplex. I'm not sure how the hell I made it back there in one piece, but I did. And I'm in the laundry room with one of my best friends at the time. We're going to call him Fuck Around and Find Out. Now, as I tell my stories, I try to give everybody these nicknames to protect, their anonymity and mine, because my real name is not something that I plan on using. So Fuck Around and Find Out guy, he's one of my best friends, and to this day he's one of my best friends in the world. And there's a whole nother story as to why we call him Fuck Around and Find Out, but anyway, that's his name. So I'm standing in the laundry room, and I'm trying to explain what's going on to Fuck Around and Find Out, and he's trying to listen to me. He's my bro, and he cares, right? He can tell there's something clearly messed up with me, right? So I'm skipping. I'm skipping like a moron. And then finally, this white stream of puke comes just flying out of my mouth, straight at his face. And he like ninja dodges this stream of puke, and it hits the wall behind him. And he looks at it and he says, now that's a Lugan. Now, some context there, folks. For weeks up until this point, I had been calling people Lugan. And people would say, well, what the hell is that? And I would say, I don't know, but it certainly can't be good. Well, now Fuck Around and Find Out has decided to define what a Lugan is. Moving on. At that point, the acid, the crack, it's coursing through my body. I am tripping balls. And these are two drugs that are well known for making people paranoid. And let me tell you what, I decided everybody in the house was a rat and had to go. Fuck Around and Find Out. Now, he doesn't even really know what's going on at the time. He's kind of, he's still trying to figure that out alongside me. And it don't really matter, though. He's my bro, and he is dog loyal. And he just knows that I'm tripping balls and everybody's got to go, and that's enough for him. So the two of us, we clear out this entire party of people in record time. And there's, 4, maybe 6 of us left. And we're all kind of sitting around the living room crying and hugging and carrying on. And we called each other the us at that point. And I don't know, that the us thing kind of stuck around for a little bit. But what a mess. What a horrible mess that was. Eh? I just think back on those days and think, now, I mean, PTSD now stops me from doing all sorts of, ballsy things, but, PTSD aside, who the hell just walks into a strange house like that and has no idea what's going on, and especially when you're already so messed up. I mean, the crazy things we used to do when we were kids, eh? But anyway, so yeah, that's That's the first time that I ever tried crack. At this point in the show, folks, I'd like to talk about gratitudes and how important they are. And the thing about gratitudes is, if you list them every day, and I encourage you to do this, it's proven. It's proven to help your relationships. It's proven to give you a more positive outlook on life. It's proven to help you deal with adversity better. There is everything right about listing off your gratitudes in a day. And as far as recovery goes, to me, and to a lot of other people I know, it's an integral part of it. It's one of the fundamentals in recovery is to, in the very least, be aware of your gratitudes and quite often to list them out. So I encourage you, whatever stage of life you're in, whether you're in addiction, whether you're in recovery, whether you're recovering from addiction, whether you got nothing to do with addiction at all. I mean, it's what harm could it do, right? So number one is my family in a broad sense. Time and time again, they have just shown up. They always seem to come through when I really need them, and when I decide to get my shit together and make an attempt at it anyway. And I mean, I can't. As a matter of fact, thinking about them now kind of makes me tear up a little bit. They're pretty awesome. Number 2 on the list is the cleaner. That's a name I've given a very close friend of mine who has been integral in getting this first episode up and off the ground. He has helped me with feedback and support. And in the last year in general, I really need to say, we've known each other for the better part of 30 years. And in the last year that I've been really trying to clean up my life, he's proven to be a source of support and friendship like few others in the world have. So he's an easy one to put on the list today. Number 3 is my gift of gab. I mean, first of all, it makes it possible for me to want to, never mind to actually do a podcast. And it's also gotten me out of countless jams in my life. I can't even begin to tell you how many. But I suppose if you keep listening, you'll hear some of those. Number 4 is a combined effort of all of my experiences in my life and the friends in them. I am fortunate enough that most of the people in these stories have cleaned their act up a lot sooner than I ever did, and I actually still talk to them, so it should make for some interesting episodes in the future. Every one of those experiences has made me who I am today. So anyway, that's my gratitude for today. Now, folks, I'm using humor to try and draw you in and bring awareness to addiction and recovery and all of that. And if you are in active addiction, like I said in the beginning, please reach out. Reach out to anybody you can, a friend, a family member. Go to a meeting, find a detox center, seek professional help, call a helpline. Do anything you need to do to start healing and to come back out of recovery. And with that said, if you are the loved one of an addict, folks, this is the message that I really want you to take from my podcast here. It's that addiction is lonely and terrible. It can be the worst place in the world to be. And what keeps you there, what really keeps you there, the disease will always find a way, and its demons will always find a way, but it's the shame. You want to reach out to your friends, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, whoever, and you don't. The shame keeps you there. The addiction just keeps you there. So send a note, send a text to somebody you love today that might be in active addiction, and just let them know they're loved. Say those words: "You are loved." Maybe say you're not alone. Something simple and sweet, and it just might be the thing that brings them back. If you're enjoying the content that I'm recording here and you're listening to the podcast and you want to donate, I am not too proud to take on a donation. Ultimately, I'll be looking for sponsors, but that'll be down the road. If you go to my Facebook page, there's actually kind of a cool way you can help out and help yourself out as well. I have my Coho referral link there, Koho, Coho. It's like an online bank. And I'm not trying to advertise for Coho. Christ, I wish I had them as a sponsor. But one of the cool things about it is if you click my referral link and sign up, you get this virtual card, like as soon as you're done with the verification process. And once you spend $5 out of your account, both of us will get $20, free money, just like that, no strings attached. You don't have to spend any money whatsoever. You don't have to give a credit card, none of that bullshit. And you never have to use the card at all, though you might find some cool purposes for it, like I have. But you can donate, help me out, and at the same time, pocket some cash yourself. So I'd appreciate it if you did that. Now, whether you're an addict in active addiction, an addict in recovery, the loved one of an addict, or just a listener that's got some questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me on my Facebook page, the Dopey Canuck. You can also email me, dopeycanuck@gmail.com. And that's all for today, folks.
Bad dudes, I've been trying to get a bag too. I'm just doing what I have to. I said, mama, I got bad news. Bad moods every day, brand new tattoos on my face. Sad dude, with a head full of rain. I just wanna make it rain, mama, I will be okay. I feel like I might break right now. I feel like making a fucking mistake right now. Ew. I just need a cake right now. I blow out all the candles in my brains right now. Ew. I'm so tired of flexing. I got a minor confession, like I might die from depression. Like whoa.